What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Coop's House. We're back in the shop today working on the Fairlane paint project. Again, this is part 2, and we're hoping this is the last part because we're ready to move on and get on to something else. So, remember last time we were here, I said we actually painted the bottom half with a single stage, so we had to let it sit for a few days. And I said that when we came back, we were going to wet sand this thing down and get it ready to paint the top color and then clear coat the entire car. Well, it's been 5 to 6 days, something like that, and it's time to get started sanding. So I went ahead off camera and actually started wet sanding the fenders and a couple other little small parts just to see kind of how well it was going to work out, and it's going to be all right. So I'm going to show you guys where we're at with that, and then we're going to go ahead and get started sanding the doors. And I'm going to get as much of this stuff sanded today as possible before I have to go back to work in a day or two, whenever, something like that. But anyway, yeah, let's check it out. So you guys see a couple little shiny spots. That's where whenever I was wet sanding this stuff down, I actually sanded through and got through to the sealer. So I had to come back, touch it up. That's the good thing about single stage, I guess, is I can just spray right back over it and then wet sand it back down before I have to clear it. So yeah, anyway, I guess that's good. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm taking a sanding pad and actually sanding these down flat, getting all the orange peel, all of that stuff out with 600 on a soft sanding pad. And then whenever I get all of that done, and let me mention, I'm only doing the flat spots. I'm not going over these body lines or anything like that because I don't want to sand through. So whenever I get through with that, I'm actually taking a gray Scotch-Brite, running over the entire thing. And that way it kind of cleans it. And I can hit those body lines, you know, the crevices and stuff like that I'm worried about sanding through. I can hit those with that Scotch-Brite, and it'll smooth those down and actually create a place for the clear coat to adhere to. So, yeah, that's how we're going about that. Once we get all of that finished, we're going to wash them with soap and water, and then obviously we'll wipe them down before we actually paint anything. But yeah, so it's a lot of work, but we're going to get after it and get as much done as possible. I'm really, really hoping that at the very least, I have the fenders, the doors, the hood and the trunk, and then the small parts that go on the outside of the car. I'm really hoping I have those sanded and I'm able to actually shoot those with clear before I go back to work. That way when I get back and I get back on the car, then I don't have a whole lot to do. But anyway, that's the game plan for the next 2 days. So we're going to get to work on that and see how far we can get. Here we go. I guess I really should mention there will be a little bit of different dynamic to this video because Hunter left me all alone. He's on vacation. So he's not here to do all his pretty little cool, little camera tricks. So doing everything, camera work, car work, it's awesome. So everything's being shot from a tripod. It'd be what it'd be. All right, I filmed probably all I'm going to film sanding. I don't want to bore you guys completely to death, but the trunk is sanded, so once it dries, I'll show you guys what it looks like. And so in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pull the hood down and get ready to sand those parts. But yeah, I'm not going to bore you guys to death with sanding. We still have quite a bit to do, and I know the last thing you guys want to do is sit here and watch me do that. So I'm going to do the rest of it off camera, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so it is the next day. I told you guys I wasn't going to bore you with sanding, so I went ahead and did all of that off camera. Everything has been washed with soap and water. It's all been wiped down with thinner to clean it, and we're ready to tack cloth and mix some clear. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. I sanded everything with 600 grit, wet sand, got everything down slick, and then I took a gray Scotch-Brite, just run over everything. Just make sure everything was scuffed. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, and then we're about to mix up some clear, shoot it on these parts, and see how these turn out. Again, this is the first time I have ever sanded single stage to clear over the top of it. So I'm hoping it turns out well, but we'll find out. Let's check it out. It is hot out here. Anyway, this is a material that I'm super unfamiliar with. Never sprayed this before. It's SPI clear. I ran out of my disposable cups, didn't realize it, so we're back to using Old Faithful. But anyway, this says to spray every single coat wet and wait 30 minutes between every coat. So I'm about to wipe everything down with a tack cloth. I'm gonna shoot this with a wet coat, and then we're gonna set a timer. We'll come back in 30 minutes. But we'll find out how this stuff lays out. It absolutely has to be thinned in order to spray. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it, but this whole thing's been a learning process, just like the Chevelle was, because I'm doing a whole lot of stuff that I've not done prior to now on this one. So yeah, anyway, let's shoot some clear. All right, so it's been 30 minutes. The first coat laid out pretty slick, actually, so kind of anxious to see what the second coat does. Really hoping everything continues to work out well. But anyway, we're gonna continue on. This is coat number 2. Well, as if the timing couldn't be any worse, about the time I hooked my gun to the hose, power went out. Welcome to Florida. We lose power probably 3 times a week around here anymore. A little ridiculous, but anyway. I'm gonna give this a couple minutes and hope to God the power comes back on. If it don't, I don't know what to do about it. So, not good luck hoping it comes on here in a minute or 2. We'll see. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take my chances. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this coat, and hopefully sometime between the flash time they get the power back on. I don't know, but I don't wanna wait too long and then end up having to scuff all this to get clear on it. So, should have plenty of air pressure build up. It'll only take a second to run over these parts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done and hope for the best. So let's get a coat laid down. Good news. We finished the other coat about 15 minutes later, something like that. Power came back on, so the compressor's built back up, fans running, lights are back on. Second coat looks pretty good to have been sprayed in the dark, so not complaining too much there, other than the fact that I had to do it. I'm complaining about that. But anyway, yeah, so we got about 5 more minutes to wait, something like that, and then we're gonna be spraying the third coat. I'm probably gonna call that my final coat because this stuff sprays on pretty thick. And so yeah, we're gonna wait about 5 more minutes, spray our third and final coat, see where we're at, and hope everything looks good. If it looks like it looks right now, everything's laying out great. So this thing will need minimal buffing, if any. I would really like to get away with none, but you know how that goes. Especially spraying in the shop, so we may have a little bit of trash. But anyway, everything looks good right now. Hopefully it continues that way. We'll find out here in just a few minutes. All right, so we're about to spray the third and final coat. I've got a little bit of extra thinner in the clear this time, and I'm gonna up the air pressure just a little bit. So hopefully it lays out nice and slick. I don't know, we'll find out. clear sprayed on the doors, the fenders, and the trunk lid. So we still have to wet sand the car and the hood. And then when we get all of that finished, we can go ahead and shoot the white on the roof, and we can clear coat the entire car. So everything laid out pretty good. It may take a very, very light cut and buff, but I don't think we're gonna have to do a whole bunch. It laid out pretty slick. There's not really any orange peel in it, not much trash, very little trash. So maybe a super light cut and buff, and we'll be done. So we're getting there, and I'm pretty excited about it. So anyway, we're gonna move on to the next part of this project and start sanding on the car. Let's go. Well, it is the next day, working on getting the car ready for clear coat, and I got out here this morning. My camera was dead because I forgot to charge it yesterday, but I got out here this morning and wet sanded everything down. Actually, I wet sanded everything yesterday, but I got out here this morning, finished it off with the gray Scotch-Brite like I talked about. You guys can see right here on the roof, there's a little bit of overspray. I think you can see it in the camera, maybe not. But there's a little bit of overspray from the blue, but that's okay. We're about to wash this thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the roof with Scotch-Brite as well to go ahead and knock all of that loose. And still, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I actually knocked part of it off yesterday. But now that everything's sanded and ready to be painted, I'm gonna hit this thing with some Dawn dish liquid. I meant to mention that yesterday, but the reason I use that is to remove the oil, grease, stuff like that. But yeah, so we're gonna wash it with that, and then we're gonna let this thing sit and dry for a little bit. We'll get it moved inside, get ready to tape everything off, get ready to paint the roof, and get ready to clear this thing. But let's get this thing washed in the meantime. Now that the car is washed, it's pretty much ready to be moved inside, so I'm gonna let it sit out here in the sun and dry. And I just remembered I still haven't wet sanded the hood, so I still gotta do that. But I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get lunch, and then after I eat, I'll come out here, wet sand the hood, make sure it's washed, and then we'll move this thing inside. We'll blow everything out with the air nozzle, make sure there's no water anywhere that's gonna come out and absolutely ruin the paint job. So yeah, then we'll mask it off, and then we'll start shooting the paint. So still a little bit of work, but we're getting really, really close, and I'm super excited. So I'm gonna go eat some lunch. Alrighty, guys, so now that we got the car in the shop, we are gonna start taping this thing off. It came out nice and clean, so everything looks pretty good. Everything's scuffed up like it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape it off, tape off the door jambs, gonna tape off the trunk jam, and go ahead and tape it and cover everything from the roof down where our brake line is gonna be. And then we're gonna get ready to shoot some sealer up here. Then we'll have to wait a little while, and then we'll start shooting base coat. But yeah, so we're gonna get started taping and try to get everything covered best we can. As you can see, I have already started without turning on the camera. So we're gonna run that brake line all the way around. There's a piece of trim that goes here, but I don't know how far it goes down. I've never seen it. So not sure how far it goes down, so I'm just gonna run that brake line about the middle of there. And that way everything is even. So from here, all the way to the back where it breaks right there, I wanna make sure that that's even all the way around. So that's how I'm running my tape. So yeah, we're gonna finish taping this thing off, hang a couple of drop cloths, and we're fixing to get ready to start spraying sealers. So here we go. all that to spray the roof. So you guys see what I was talking about right across there, that line. That's where I'm gonna break it and spray the white. So from there up, it's gonna be white. A pillars will be white. C pillar, B pillar in this car, I don't really know. All that'll be white from there up. And then we'll tape it off. Well, we'll peel all the tape. I'm actually gonna have to retape things around in here. That way I can clear coat the whole car without messing everything up inside. So a little bit of work left, but coming along. So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna have to go inside and sit in the AC for just a little bit, because if not, we'll have more sweat than we do paint. This is Florida. It's like 157,000 degrees. It's like hell's back porch or something. Anyway, it's hot, so I'm gonna go in and cool off. That way when I come back, all I've got to do is mix up some sealer, get ready to shoot it, and hopefully we don't have to worry about all of this. So yeah, I'm gonna cool off, and then we'll be back in a few. Well, I've cooled off a little bit, walked back outside, and I'm already sweaty again. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take some thinner on my blue rags, wipe this thing down, make sure it's good and clean. Gonna go mix up our sealer, get ready to spray, wipe this thing down with a tack cloth, put on a couple of coats, and see how it looks afterwards. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now, and hopefully everything turns out okay. So let's do it. This Florida heat is no joke when it comes to spray and paint and his behavior. The sealer was giving me a fit. It was dry almost as soon as it hit the car. So you guys can see it's gonna streak a little bit. That spot right there, that's actually dust from the other side, so it's like overspray. So I'm gonna end up having to tack cloth that before I can actually spray the base, which I was gonna tack cloth it anyway, but I mean, it is definitely gonna have to be tack cloth to get all of that off so I can spray the base. But we've at least got it in sealer. It's one color. I have a single color to spray over, so that's gonna be all right. But we're gonna let this sit for 25, 30 minutes, something like that. I was gonna let it sit for an hour. That's what I usually do, but as hot as it is today, I'm not gonna wait that long. I'm gonna wait 25, 30 minutes, come back out. We're gonna mix up some white base, get that on the car, and then we'll let that sit a little while before we actually peel everything, retape the car, and spray it. So we're gonna take a break for a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, so it's been about 25 minutes. We're gonna mix up some white paint, tack cloth the roof, gonna shoot it on, probably 2 to 3 coats, whatever covers, and then we're gonna wait a little bit longer, clear coat the car. It's hot. I had to change shirts because I'd already sweated through the other one. So we're gonna get back to work. That was a step I wasn't planning on having to take, but when I sprayed the sealer, that overspray dried and it was extremely textured, and we don't want that under our base coat. So I just took a piece of dry 600, just ran over it real quick, just knocked that down, and I tack cloth it to get everything off. I wiped it down with thinner. We're good and clean, we're ready to go. So our paint is mixed, fixing to pour it in the gun. We're gonna just get the top sprayed. I can't talk. We're gonna get the top sprayed and see what it looks like, and hope everything works out. Really, really hoping it does, but let's do that and see how it looks. Well, my camera died right in the middle of spraying white, but white is sprayed. I've got the car taped everywhere that doesn't need to get clear on it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and mix up some clear finally. I'm gonna tack cloth the roof, make sure everything's good there. Gotta wipe the entire car down with some thinner to make sure it's good and clean. And then we're about to put clear on this thing and see how the entire car looks with clear coat on it. So pretty excited about that because we're finally reaching the end of this project and we get to move on to something else. So that's always exciting. So anyway, I'm not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna get right on that, get this knocked out, and see how it looks. So here we go.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Okay guys, so got the third and final coat of clear on the car and laid out pretty slick, except for a couple places right on top of the roof. There are some air bubbles that were in the first coat that didn't go away. I was kind of hoping maybe they would, but they didn't. So I'm going to show you guys that, but overall came out pretty good. Got a couple runs in it, couple of bugs. I'm just hoping that they come out whenever I cut and buff it. So that's another thing that I have never done that I'm doing for the very first time on this car. I've never cut and buffed a new paint job, so this is going to be another learning experience for me. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys how this paint laid out, and then I'm fixing to call it a night because I'm tired and I'm going to go back to work tomorrow. So yeah, I sprayed this super wet, so I do have a couple runs, but everything laid out pretty slick aside from those air bubbles that popped up. But I'm gonna let you guys check this out, and then I'm gonna call it a night. But check it out.
I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they don't let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns. We're all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
There's those bubbles I was talking about. Don't know what caused that or why they're there. It's really weird, but I'm hoping they come out with a cut and buff. Got a bug there, bug over there. It just came out full force in that last coat. But anyway, really hoping all of that comes out with a light cut and buff. But overall, it's not horrible. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna call it a night tonight. We'll come back when I get off work Sunday morning. Yeah, something like that. I go to work tomorrow, then get off Sunday morning. So when I get back, we'll unmask this thing and we'll get ready to start looking at cutting and buffing it. Just hoping that goes well. A little nervous about it, not gonna lie, but we're gonna do it. So I'll see you guys on Sunday. Well, guys, it's been a few days. I went to work, came back, and I tried to sand out those air bubbles we talked about on the clear coat. Didn't work, so I ended up having to sand it all back down and just completely reshoot it, which is what I'm in here doing right now. So I've already sanded the roof back down and already shot a new coat of base coat. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and mix up the clear and shoot that. I didn't go through the whole sanding process or anything like that because it was the same exact thing we've already done. So I am getting ready to mix up clear. Gonna put some more clear on the roof, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clear the hood and a couple other small parts now. I know this has been boring up to this point. Believe me, I'm bored too. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get that done, and hopefully everything goes to plan this time. Don't know why we've had so many issues, but we have. It is what it is. That's the nature of the beast, especially when you're doing it like we're doing it, because this is not the ideal setup. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get after that and see what happens. here goes nothing.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks.
Alright, I know the only footage I got was the roof, but so far, so good. Much better than the last time when we had the little air bubbles in it. Everything's looking pretty slick at the moment. So this clear again is very, very specific on the directions. It says let it sit for 30 minutes between every single coat. So I'm gonna take a break for a little bit, let this sit a while. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? So I'm gonna let this sit a little while, and then we'll come back out in a few minutes, mix up a little more clear, and go for our second coat, and hope everything continues to go to plan. So yeah. Okay, so third, not second, third, and final coat is laid. Everything seems to have laid out okay. We didn't have any weirdness like we did the first time. I'm not sure what that was all about, but we got it laid down. Everything appears to be pretty slick and looking decent, so I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like, and then I'm gonna call it a day for today. We're gonna let this sit overnight. We'll come out here tomorrow and unmask everything and see how everything's gonna look, and just make sure that we're okay. So we're gonna check this out, and then I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Yeah, so like I said, there's just a little bit of trash in it, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm much happier this go around than I was when I painted this thing the first time and had all the bubbles in it. So I can live with this. So anyway, yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna call it a day today, and then I'll be back out here tomorrow. So see you guys then. Okie dokie, guys. So I said the other day that we were gonna try our hand at cutting and buffing on this car. Today's the day. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but we're gonna see how it goes. Got just a couple of runs, a couple little bugs. I'm not gonna buff the whole car because I'm scared to death to do this on somebody else's car because I've never done it before. So I'm just going to cut and buff just those spots and see how it turns out. I did try one spot off camera, and I did it by hand with a block, and you can still kind of see the scratches in it. So I bought some sanding disc for my DA sander with the foam block. So I've got 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000, so hopefully I can do away with all those scratches. So again, it's not really big spots, so I'm just gonna hit the main areas like where those runs are and stuff like that in the clear. So first we're gonna go over those with a razor blade, and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do with that. And then we're gonna start wet sanding this and get ready to polish this out. So let's see how it goes. All right, so I've got this normal razor blade. I've got tape on each end, so you can see where the edge of it is. But this is basically just to create a gap here in the center and to protect the paint from the edges. But anyway, so that way I can set it down flat and the razor blade isn't actually on the same level as the paint. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera or not, but there's a little bit of a run right here. So all I'm gonna do is just take the razor blade and just run it across the top, and it just kind of shaves that run down. I wish you guys could really see it. Yeah, there you go. So you can see right where the run is, and all I'm doing is just kind of turning this at a little bit of an angle and just running over it and just shaving it down. So once I get that shaved down kind of flat, then I'll take my 1,000 grit on the DA sander, run over it, sand it smooth, and then we'll work our way up, and then we'll hit it with a polish, and it should come out nice and slick, no run, and good and shiny. So like I said, this is like the first time I've ever done this, so just hoping everything turns out good. So we'll see. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo.
hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need.
Oh, I was nervous the whole time, but it looks like everything came out okay. And so if it did, it should polish out just fine. But I've got a couple more spots to hit on the car, and then I'm gonna pull it inside the shop into the shade so that we're not trying to polish in the sun, because the sun will dry out that polishing compound. It just makes a mess. So we're gonna go ahead and finish wet sanding a couple more spots. Don't really have much left. I think there's one spot maybe on the driver's side, and then I've got one little spot here on the roof on the passenger side that I've got to do, but it's looking okay. I'm actually not too disappointed in this. So hopefully everything continues to go well. We'll get this polished out and it won't be that big of a deal. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna do some more.
Fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
I'll show you guys real quick. This is after we wet sanded it. Before buff, right above it is after. That's actually really, really cool. Heck of a difference. Still got one little spot. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let's see. No, you guys can't see it on camera. I still got one little spot that's kind of dull that I'm gonna have to hit with the buffer still somewhere right up here. It's in there somewhere. But that's not terrible. I'm actually not upset with that really at all. So we're gonna go ahead, continue, get this panel knocked out, and see how it looks. Well, so far so good on the buffing out of the runs in the car. The driver's side so far is turning out absolutely phenomenal, super slick. I'm going to show that to you guys. There's one or two spots that I still have to hit, like on the edge of the body line, but this is turning out really good, and it's actually a fairly enjoyable process. I hate to admit that, but it is. Again, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm super happy with the result. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Still have the passenger side to do. I've got the two little spots over there. And once I hit those and I get those sanded out, I think we're pretty much done with this thing. So we're gonna move on over after lunch. I'm gonna go get some lunch because I'm hungry. But after that, we're gonna come back. We're gonna buff out the two spots on the side, give this car one more look over, and we're gonna see where we're at. All right, guys, we've reached the end of another episode of Coop's house. This car turned out to be quite a bit more work than we had anticipated, but we got it knocked out. He's on his way over to pick it up now. He's going to take it back to his place and get it assembled. So this is it. So we appreciate you guys, as always, tuning in. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, talk to us in the comments. The more you guys interact with us, the more our videos are recommended to people with similar interests. So make sure you guys are doing that. Turn on the notifications so you know when we post, and we appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys keep tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.